Hagane with their new EP album Life Goes On, and this is the last track in our track by track listen through. And you might be saying, but Howard, this is the penultimate track. Well, that's because I did the title track first, which is the last track. So confusing. Anyway, look, this is the last one I have to react to, and so here I am doing a reaction to it. It's been an interesting experience. As I've said, it's kind of curious how they went from the old Hagane had a little bit more of a contemporary sound, and ironically, this new version of Hagane has got a little bit more of an old school metal sound, and yet this sort of old school metal sound is now becoming the new popular thing. If you look like groups like Love Bites, Lonesome Blue, things like that, it's become a very popular thing to have this kind of old school, high speed, melodic metal sound. And it's really cool as well because Hagane feel like they've really hit the ground running with this. It feels like this new version of the band, which is in almost an entirely new band in many ways, has just felt so much like this is the most together they've sounded. I did burp a little bit just then. I hope that was not recorded. I got a really good microphone. I hope you were bad for one moment there. Anyway, I did burp. Anyway, Hagane is sounding great, and this is the last track off of this new album that I've got to hear. So DATT, DAT. I don't know if it stands for something. I assume it probably does. I'm going to look forward to it. It's very short compared to the other track. With exception to the intro, this is easily the shortest track at 2 minutes 47. So let's dive in, have a little listen. I'm kind of excited. They've had two really solid songs that felt like singles in the title track and the first full-length track. And then the most recent one that I just reacted to, Hero Time, that was much more experimental. It was a bit hit and miss, but as a general, I thought it had some really good ideas in it, and it was nice to hear them playing around. And it was more concise as well than some of the experimentations of the older form of Hagane. So anyway, let's check out that, see what we think. It's a short and sharp song. I do like my concise songs, so let's see. Oh. Sounds like we're going for some like punkish sort of vibes to this. Okay. Oh, loving that bass line as well. Nice little walking bass line. It's somewhere between punk and like biker rock. Getting that Motorhead vibe again. Okay, is this an instrumental then, right? Loving that focus on the melodic side of the instrumental. Again, there's something about these bands where you can hear the talent in the little details. It's just so smooth, so easy to follow. You can feel the emotion more than the twiddle. That's one of the things I'm loving about this new form of Hagane, and obviously very much right here in this track. Yeah. Wow, it's nearly over already. Wow. Well, I mean, credit on them again for making the instrumental such a short track. Just shows again that love and attention towards being concise. That you know, a lot of other bands, if they're like, hey, let's do a track which is guitar solos, that'd be the longest track on the album. And I love the fact, I mean, you know, they could keep on doing this instrumental. They could keep this going for an entire day if they wanted to. But it's that I know. Again, it's that attention to songwriting, that attention to being that little bit more concise that I think is really to the benefit of this form of Hagane. And I don't mean that as in to minimalize things. They're still just as over the top. It's still as big and bombastic as ever, if not more so than they were before. But just, everything's so much tighter on this album. And so now that we've heard the entire mini album, I wasn't expecting there to be an instrumental on here. I guess I should have guessed that. I really like the vibe of this. That sort of slightly, is it punk? Is it like American style, like old school rock? I don't know how I'd describe that riff, but it definitely sounded quite raw from the get-go. And just the whole vibe of this was really nice, really fun, engaging, energetic, but a lot of focus on a mixture of melody and just like a good rhythm. I don't know, this was very simple really at its heart, but it worked. I think after the intro, after the first few seconds, I was kind of hoping that we'd get a vocal, because I get the feeling that the vocalist could have done something quite different maybe with this song than some of the others. But yeah, I mean, from the context of having an album, having an instrumental on there, again, it breaks up the album, gives you something interesting to get your teeth into album-wise as well. So this was just very nice. And yeah, I in a way, I feel like I'm recycling some of the things I said about some of the previous tracks, and listening to this as the last track maybe is not the best idea, because most of the things that make this so good are somewhat repeating things about other tracks, as it is obviously it doesn't have vocals in it. It is a bit shorter, so there's not as much to talk about in regards to the arrangement. But I guess in a way, it's something of a microcosm for a lot of the things that work about this album instrumentally, in that it's not overly showy. It's just got a lot of quality. It doesn't outstay its welcome. It's smart, it's structured, but at the same time, it's very expressive. It's got a real love for melody being at the front of things, so that your ears have something to follow. It's not just trying to impress you, it's actually trying to give you some music. Something that there's a lot of metal bands out there, especially old school metal bands, who could learn about that. I have to say something in every review where I'm basically just courting a little bit of hatred from commenters. But yeah, I mean, look, this to me is an example of how to do this style of music right. When I say this, I'm kind of really referring to this entire album at this point. I might come back and do a review of the like an overall review of the mini album. But I think, to be honest, I think probably a lot of the things I've said and a lot of the tracks on this mini album have been kind of the same, or had a lot of similar points, because there is just this similar thread through all of the tracks on here. As I just said, for fear of repeating myself again, it's the melody focus, concise. The detail and the musical skill is used to express things rather than just to be there for its own sake. And this is an interesting way to finish off this track by track listen. So anyway, I really like this. Guys, let me know as always what you think, and get into the comments as well. Tell me if there's any other Hagane that you want me to go check out. I mean, I could go check out some of the old stuff again. I'd listened to a lot of the singles like Supervillain and stuff before, but if there's any like old tracks where you think I might enjoy that I might have skipped over, haven't heard a lot of the old album tracks and things, or maybe there's singles I missed, I don't know. Do let me know. But I gotta say that I've got a good feeling for Hagane moving forwards. I would say if there was something that I would hope for them now going on from this point, I think they've demonstrated that they're very good at doing this kind of melodic, high-speed metal sound. But moreover, and I think more importantly, they've shown that they're capable now of writing songs that feel more structured than they did back in the day with the old Hagane. Now, I believe the guitarist who wrote most of the songs for the old Hagane is still one of the few members who's still in this version, and I believe she's still on writing duties, but it seems that she's just in a better environment or circle, and maybe she's just like got matured her writing style. I don't want to sound patronizing, but it just sounds like whatever she was doing, it's improved. So now we've heard this EP. I'd like to hear for the next EP, or the next things Hagane do after this, for them to continue with this work ethic, this quality, this skill, but maybe now try and branch out, add a few more things to their sound, do different takes on the metal genre. We've had this sort of this melodic high-speed metal. Let's see what other types of metal they can maybe bring their writing style to. Musical skill and musicianship is definitely there. I think they could conquer all different styles of metal and hard rock if they wanted to. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what we get from them next. But this was a really cool final track to listen to. As I say, get in the comments, tell me what you think. Until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.